I hate to bore all you people with all these videos about NASA and about stars and nebulae. I know you're not interested. I have a reason for doing this. Back in 2008, when I learned that an obscure man from nowhere received the Democrat Party nomination for President of the United States, I had to confess that I knew nothing about him. So I began to check him out as best I could, and I was immediately alarmed. And I began making videos pointing out, attempting to point out to America the danger of allowing this guy and his people, his cronies, any power whatsoever over our country. The response I got on YouTube was that hundreds of leftists subscribed to my channel and badgered me to death and criticized me and put thumbs down on all my videos and put nasty, ugly comments on my videos and on my channel. It was rare that any of them could ever argue meaningfully. They could only sling mud left and right, all unsubstantiated, such as you were obviously molested by your Boy Scout master when you were a child. The word moron fits you to a T. You obviously have a gun fetish. You are a stupid redneck. You know, they could not argue, could not refute anything I said. But the mud was just intense. Over the years, these leftists either petered out or drifted elsewhere. And recently, as I made all these videos about what could likely drive the climate, such as our passage through clumps of interstellar gas in space as the sun moves through the galaxy and possibly orbits another star as part of a star system that may include Alpha Centauri and Sirius, passing through what NASA describes as the local cloud of interstellar gas, which composes, among other things, is composed of hydrogen, most of which is ionized, and most is it's very, very thin gas. But it's a huge cloud, 40 light years wide. And if this gas were to enter our solar system, which it does, it would be drawn to the gravitational field of the sun, and all this very thin gas, but a huge cloud of thin gas, would be sucked into the sun. And given enough decades and centuries and perhaps millennia, it could have a very discernible effect on the sun's output, I theorize. Well, I have fun studying this subject, but it turns the leftists off so bad that they don't even respond, and they one by one unsubscribe. Well, this gives me a thrill. I know who it is who is unsubscribing from my videos. I don't want them around. I wish them luck. I wish that they would stumble upon the truth. But until then, I'd rather they be elsewhere. So I continue to make these videos about NASA and about Obama, even though I know they're boring you to tears. But you know, I do this for my own entertainment. I have very little desire to be famous or to be noted in public. I'm an obscure little man in my obscure little land, and I just as soon stay that way. So I raise a little hell from time to time. Very little hell, since I'm seen by, I imagine I'm seen by 4 or 5 true Americans who are probably confused by what I'm saying. Nobody could ever imagine that the climate is determined by extraterrestrial events. That's far-fetched. So they think I'm probably a little goofy. I don't blame them for thinking that. But in my recent video, I pointed out that several credible former employees of NASA, including Apollo astronauts and including 2 directors of the Johnson Space Center in Houston, have put their signatures on a letter addressed to Charles Bolton, Obama's appointed head of NASA. And they object, as I do, to NASA becoming an advocacy group of this twisted, perverted, sick, unscientific, man-made global warming crap. Not a theory, it's deliberate crap. It's an attempt at economic sabotage of the United States, because these international communists and their collective psychosis have an uncontrollable hatred of the United States, because they've been brainwashed into believing that the United States is the opposite of what it is. All humanity is flawed, and every nation has committed offenses against others. But comparing the United States to any other country, we come out looking pretty darn good. And considering that the United States has produced a large amount of the wealth and the security and freedom in the world today, we come out looking pretty good. So if this distresses these leftists who have glommed onto my channel in an attempt to harass me and to shut me up, if this distresses them, I'm glad. I just apologize that I'm boring the hell out of you. Sorry.